Okay.
Stephanie, can you show the slides?
Yes, let me go
Oh, thank you.
to my screen and let's get started. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, guys, thank you so much for joining today's session. We're really excited to have you guys here. This is the very first time that we're hosting an idea competition, and we're really excited to have you guys compete. So if you're not familiar with what an idea competition is, an idea competition is basically a competition that you enter if you have an idea for a product or service that solves a need or creates value to someone. Okay, and so that's all that it is. And you don't have to have an actual full-on product or an actual full-on developed business. That's not what it is. All we want is to encourage you guys to start thinking about ideas and the potential of maybe pursuing those ideas and get started in actually create a venture. So I'll go ahead and introduce you to our as, associate professor of practice and associate director of the CIC, Derek Abrams.
Oh, hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. We're really excited about this big idea competition. This is what is a big idea competition? Well, it's essentially a competition to see who has the best idea for a new product or new service. Okay. This competition is going to be open to all UTRGV faculty, staff, students, and the RGV community at large. So I've had the opportunity to speak to many folks affiliated with UTRGV and in the RGV community at large. And so I know many of you have wonderful ideas in terms of how.
To steal.
Okay.
That's funny, right? That they think we don't know.
David, can you mute yourself, mute your microphone? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I know many of you have wonderful ideas in terms of how to improve the business environment and also the world in which we live. Okay. Here we have an agenda that we're going to follow. We're going to talk a little bit about the Entrepreneurship Centers. Many of you perhaps don't know much about them. And we're going to talk about a new entrepreneurship management software called Startup Tree. Then we'll go through a timeline for this application process, and we'll talk a little bit about the prizes, and then give you the detailed steps of what you got to do to get your submission completed, and then we'll also talk a little bit about this interesting program called the Wendy Kennedy Ideation Program, and then we'll have some Q&A questions. Okay. All right. So we have two entrepreneurship centers that are part of UTRGV. Stephanie and I work at the CIC in Weslaco. All right, and you can see a picture of our center there. There's another entrepreneurship center called the ECC that's a part of Brownsville. And you can't, we don't have a picture there for them. They are in the process of relocating to well, not quite yet, but a new building is being constructed and finished for them within walking distance of the Brownsville campus. And they're kind of in the, where they're currently located, they're kind of in the process of moving to a new location to try to wait until the new building is ready. So I'm not quite sure exactly where that's going to be yet. All right, but the purpose of these entrepreneurship centers is that they are focused on improving the economic growth in the Rio Grande Valley area. Okay. And they do that through a couple of different ways, right? By focusing on entrepreneurship and helping those who may have an idea so new entrepreneurs, student entrepreneurs, established entrepreneurs in the RGV area, and looking to help them, develop their ideas to start a business, as well as help existing businesses grow. All right. And you'll be learning more about both of these centers as time goes on, and more information will be provided in the forthcoming months. Okay. Those two centers, there's other organizations that help with the economic growth in the region, but those are the two key ones at UTRGV. All right. So what is Startup Tree? Startup Tree is a software. It's if you think of a software platform, if you think of a entrepreneurship management software, that's essentially what it is. And here at the bottom, you can see the link for UTRGV's website, and you'll become more familiar with it. And it allows, perhaps if you saw if you RSVP'd for this conference or for this meeting today, you went into Startup Tree. Okay, we are in a currently process of building out our Startup Tree, our platform, and but I did include the link for Cornell's platform because it can give you an example of what a fully built out platform looks like. Okay. Here, there's two pictures here. You see one on the left and then one on the right. The one on the left shows a bunch of different universities that also use Startup Tree. So since we use Startup Tree at UTRGV, it allows us to connect with other universities, in other states that also use Startup Tree. So we will have the ability to see what they have, their offerings, and to be able to take part in those. Okay, so it's not only universities, and so we're looking at approximately 125 universities, incubators, accelerators, chamber of commerces around in the different states. They're all those that use the other organizations that use this software. We're able to connect with them. Okay. On the right side, let me go back on the on the drawing on the right side. It's more of a local environment here. All right, within our RGV. Right. So what it does is it's going to allow us, these two centers, entrepreneurship centers, are going to be key points of contact, and then we will be able to connect everything else that's related to entrepreneurship to the within the software for the whole entire RGV. Okay, and then also obviously allows us to track metrics and important things for grant purposes, and set up competitions, help with job searches, and basically we want it to be the one-stop shop, if you will, for any entrepreneur. The student entrepreneur, we want you to be able to go there and find the resources that you need to answer the questions you would want to have to advance your idea, to be able to start a business. Not only students, faculty, staff, anyone related in the RGV community. Okay. All right, so here's the timeline. Today, obviously, we're having the second session, and the application deadline, right? That's important. February 17, everything must be submitted by 5 p.m. There'll be a 7-day turnaround from when you submit the applications to when we'll select the finalists, or the finalists will be selected and notified. Okay. And so how many finalists we're looking at? Perhaps approximately 10 finalists. Okay. So out of all the submissions that we receive, we don't know how many, but we're looking to get down to about 10 or so finalists. These finalists will have another information session here on the 25th at 1 p.m. And then that will help them prepare for there's a virtual finale event in which they will present their idea to a panel of judges, okay, for evaluation in real time. And then the community members, faculty, staff, students, RGB, anyone can join the session and watch and participate in it and see these individuals present their ideas. Okay, so how can you benefit? Okay, so obviously you get to practice with presenting your idea and advancing your idea. And if you're serious enough, you'll get some critical feedback and help in that regard. But there also will be some prize money. All right, so we'll have 3 overall winners: first place, second place, and third place. And you will see the money associated with each of those places. We will also have a certain category winners. All right, so if you're the top, if social entrepreneurship winner, then you will get $500. Social entrepreneurship has to do with like nonprofits, right? So not necessarily for profit. Perhaps you've seen on TV, they've had in Texas, the long lines in different states for people who've been affected by the coronavirus pandemic. And they've had, and they've been able to get food to feed their families, right? Well, those type of food entities are nonprofits, right? So they rely on donations from the government and others to help provide some kind of service to the community, all right? And so that's what social entrepreneurship is. Green innovation, right? Everyone's heard about climate change and the move towards coming up with alternative energy sources, things to help lower our greenhouse gas emissions, right? So you've heard of terminology, getting rid of carbon, things that pollute the environment, pollute the atmosphere, that helps contribute to climate change, right? So any novel ideas that you have in the green area that's really hot, that's good. We will also have an audience favorite winner, all right? So all of you everyone who comes to the finale will be able to choose who they think the winning presentation should be. And that fan favorite, if you will, winner will receive $500. All right, so the process steps. Those of you who've RSVP'd have already created a profile in Startup Tree. Others, perhaps who haven't had the time to do that, we ask that you go ahead and create a profile within Startup Tree, and you see the link is provided. So this link you will have to set up and once you set up a profile, it will allow you to gain access to Startup Tree, sign up for events that we may have, and take part of with any mentors or anything else that we have within the Startup Tree software. Okay. Once you create a profile, after you've done that, we ask that you you make a decision on whether or not you really want to apply for this competition, submit your idea. We ask that you complete the intent to submit. All right, so that just says, all that is to say, yes, I'm going to go through with this process, and I'm going to submit an application. All right. All right, the third part is to go ahead and actually submit the application. Okay, and so that's going to be on Startup Tree as well. And the application will be a bunch of questions that you can answer relating to your idea. You can also have the option to attach a file, and perhaps answering those questions, or if there's any pictures or images that you want to show, you can attach that as well to the application. Okay. Next, Stephanie.
Okay, guys. So now I'm going to talk to you guys about an optional program that is available to you. Okay, so Derek already explained to you that first and foremost, in order to apply to the competition, you have to submit your application via our website. Right now, I'm going to show you what that looks like, because I got some questions. I got some emails from students that they wanted to know how to do that. So let's say you go to our UTRGV CIC, okay? That's our website. First of all, can you see my screen?
You see the PowerPoint still at the moment?
Yes, we could see your PowerPoint.
Okay, let me share my screen so that you can see the actual website. Okay, do you see my screen now? Do you see
Yes,
it
ma'am.
says UTRGV Center for Innovation and there's a website? Do you see it? Do you see it?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you go to UTRGV CIC, that's us. This is our website, okay? And you're gonna go to competitions, okay? Under competitions, there's the big idea competition. This is the competition that we're talking about, and this is the information session that you guys are attending, okay? So it's gonna tell you all the information here, the prices, the timeline, the contest rules, everything is on the website. And it's also gonna, this button right here, this green button that says enter now, it's gonna prompt you to create an account. So if you haven't created that account, then you're gonna click on join. And then, you're gonna put your name, your email, and then you're gonna create a password. So this is not the same as logging into Blackboard, okay, or my UTRGV, because I got a question from a student saying that they couldn't log in. But this is, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, that you are creating an account. You're not logging in with your credentials. So let's say I already created an account and I'm gonna log in, okay? So I'm gonna log in, and as this is what you guys would see as a student. And so you're gonna log in, and then you're gonna go to competitions and enter now. And so this is actually the page where this is the actual application. So if the application will ask you for the name of your idea, okay? It could be, if it's a work in progress, it doesn't matter. You could just make up a name for your idea. It's gonna ask you for your full name, your address, your phone number, your big idea name, and then it's gonna ask you some information about your actual idea, to give us a quick elevator pitch of your idea. Let's say we were in an elevator and you only had 30 seconds to tell us about your idea, what it is, what it does, why is it so great, why should we care? So this is where that's gonna go. And then it's gonna ask you, what problem does your idea solve? Okay, is it a little problem like a mosquito bite, or is it a big problem like a shark bite? And it's also going to ask you who you think would need this. Who you think would be who would be your customer? Okay, who's going to care about this idea to the point that they're going to want to spend their hard-earned money on your product or your service. And then it's also going to ask you to give us an example of who's doing this right now, who else is selling this, or who's providing something like this, who are your competitors. It's going to ask you if you have had outside funding for your idea, where you heard about the big idea competition. And also what Derek was mentioning is this is optional. It's gonna ask you if you have an actual visual for your idea, because a lot of people are very visual. And so sometimes it helps if you draw out or, sketch out an idea that you have. So if you have a sketch of your idea, you're more than welcome to submit that. It's not required, it's optional, but it's there if you want to. And then lastly, it will ask you for your student ID number. And then once you fill out all this information, then you submit. And that is it, you guys. That's all for the portion of the actual competition application. So now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna share the information about the optional program that we have available to you. Can you see my slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Do you see, because in my slide, I see one big slide and one little slide. Do you see a little slide and a big slide, or a big slide?
A big slide and a small slide on the other side.
Okay, so okay, do you now see the full screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So this is an optional program that we have available to you. We highly encourage you to participate in this program. It is not required. I repeat, it is not required, but we want to set you guys up for success. Okay, so we have a program called Wendy Kennedy Ideation, and that is a self-paced online program to help aspiring entrepreneurs develop their business ideas. Okay, and think about it kind of like YouTube videos, but obviously very professional made in like an actual program. So this is all optional. It is we do charge for this service, but if you are interested and very serious about competing in the idea competition, and you submit your intent to compete, which I'll add right now on the chat, then we will, after we receive that intent to submit form, then we will grant you access to this program free of charge. We will give you a scholarship to participate in this program free of charge, okay? And so this program has different modules, has 10 modules. But for this particular competition, we really encourage you to at least complete 4 out of the 10 modules. And these are what the modules are. And let me show you what the actual program looks like. Do you see my screen that it says WKI Online?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the actual, this is the program that I'm referring. So once we hear from you and you're interested in competing and you submit your intent to compete, then we will grant you codes for this program. You will log in, we'll send you instructions on how to log in and everything, but this is what the actual website with the modules look like. So it's going to ask you about, these are the 4 modules that we recommend, number 1 through 4. Module number 1 is going to talk to you, is going to walk you through what is your idea. You may have an idea, and obviously, like any idea, it's just an idea. It's not a full-on product or plan. And so in this module, what you're going to do is you're going to sketch out your idea. Okay, let's say you were in a restaurant and we were investors or potential customers, and you only had a few minutes of our attention. You had no paper, no pen. We were just in the coffee shop or the restaurant, and you asked a waiter or waitress, can I have a napkin? Can I borrow a pen? And you would, grab that napkin and you would sketch out your idea in the back of a napkin. That is how simple we want you guys to be able to describe your idea. Sometimes people get so caught up on trying to make it sound really fancy and technological, when it really should be really simple. And so this module is going to help you really dig into what is your idea and be able to draw it out in the back of a napkin, in case you were in that situation and you only had a few minutes to persuade somebody to hear you out. Then this module number 2 is gonna really help you answer the question, what is the problem that you're solving? Is it something worthy of you spending your money and your time and your effort? And then module number 3 is gonna ask you, and it's gonna help you really define, where do you fit, right now, with all people that are maybe selling something similar. What is gonna differentiate you from others, and make you stand out. And then the last module that we recommend is, who are your potential customers? Who's gonna care about your idea so much that they're actually gonna spend their hard-earned money on your product or service. So these are the 4 modules that we recommend. And if you guys are interested in actually submitting an application and competing, we will give you access to this program free of charge. Like I said, it is optional. Okay, any questions so far on the competition website or the program? I know it's a lot of info. Any questions so far before I move on?
Yes, when it comes to the program, after we put the intent that we want to participate, and you give us access to the program, after the competition is over, do we lose access to it, or how does the access work? Is it on a monthly basis, or?
So the access is for 1 whole year, and so you'll remain with access for from the time that you first log in, a year after that, and then let's say that you submit your idea application, you actually become a finalist and everything. You more than welcome to continue and finish all the modules. And if this is something that you're really excited about and you want to pursue, it's going to help you get started. And so we'd love to support you guys in that way. So yeah, you'll have access for a year.
What's the timeline, ma'am, for the competition, from applications being accepted, no more applications, visualization, judging, everything?
Right. Let me go back to the timeline. Do you see my screen again that says timeline?
Yes.
Okay. So like I said, the application deadline is February 17th. Okay. So that's in about what? About 2 weeks from now, February 17th. And then the judges will have a week to review applications. They'll have a rubric that they'll follow. And from all the applications that are submitted, the judges are going to be picking 10 applicants, or the top 10 finalists that score the highest from that rubric. And then right after that, we will notify all the finalists, letting them know, congratulations, thank you for submitting your application, you became a finalist. And so that's going to be on the 24th. So that's, right 1 week after you submit, you will know if you became a finalist or not. Then, because we want everyone to be on the same page and know exactly what's expected of you, we're going to host another info session so that we can walk you through all the details about the competition, how to log in, what to present, how long you'll have to present, and everything. And then during this February 25th information session, we're also going to match you with a mentor from the community. Somebody that's going to be your go-to person if you would like guidance or you would like advice on how to better your idea, tips and tricks on how to pitch your idea in the actual competition finale, which is going to be in March. And so that's going to be your kind of like your advisor, that mentor. And we're going to match you with that person that day on February 25th. So that's right after you find out if you become a finalist. And then 1 week after that, after you find out that you're a finalist, then that's when the Big Idea Competition virtual finale is going to take place. Same concept. It's going to be on Zoom, because right now, obviously, we're not meeting in person. It's going to be March the 3rd via Zoom at 1 p.m. And it's going to be from 1 to 3 p.m. You guys are going to have a total of 3 minutes to pitch your idea. tell us all about it, what it is, what it does, why it's so great, who your customers are, and so on. And then we'll have 5 minutes of question and answer for you. So, and that's kind of where we're at. Any questions besides that? I'm also going to go through some questions that we think that you may have, just to answer any concerns you may have, or so we're all on the same page. But before I get to the questions, any other questions regarding what we've covered so far?
When you showed the actual application itself, one part it asked like the very first one, it said like name of venture. And then like I remember it was like the fourth line or something like that. It showed like name of idea or something else. What are the difference between those two?
It's the same thing. The name
It's the same thing. So on those both lines, it will be the same thing.
would be the same thing. For some reason, we tried to delete it, but the system wouldn't let us. But name of venture and name of big idea are the exact same thing. Okay.
Also in the chat, some people have been asking about the student IDs, that if they don't have them, if they're not, or like if people that are not students but are other staff. I'm not sure about that. I'm just looking at the chat.
Okay, yeah, if you have a student ID, yes, that would help us a lot, especially when we're gonna be giving out the money, like the actual prize money, we're gonna need your student ID. But if you don't have a student ID because you're staff or your faculty or you're a member of the community, that is perfectly fine. You don't need to answer that. It's just applicable to students. But great question, thank you.
Ma'am, if we're, oh, I'm sorry.
It's just because they're saying that in the application, it says that it's in the mandatory field to put an ID.
Oh, okay, then we'll go ahead and change that so that it's not mandatory, so that it's optional.
Ma'am, if we're registering as a group, how do we apply?
If you're registering as a group, you only submit one application. So one
Okay.
member of your team will submit an application. You don't have to submit 4 different applications.
So just under one name.
Yes, under one.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
If one question, if we do the application halfway through and we save the draft, how do we retrieve that from the profile, from my profile?
That is a great question, and I'd be happy to get back with you. I'm not sure because myself, I've never, submitted an actual application, but I'd be happy to find out for you. Okay, great. So now I want to walk you through some Q&A questions that we thought maybe you guys, may have or may arise later on, and we want to cover those before you start the application, or before those questions arise. Okay, just to be clear, you can submit your application either individually, you yourself, or as a team. So you may ask, okay, well, how many people can be on a team? Well, it can be up to 4 people, no more than 4 people. And if you are submitting your application as a team, then only one person, has to actually log in and submit the application. You don't need to submit 4 different applications. Okay, and then you may be asking yourself, well, okay, well, I submitted my application. Now what? What happens after I submit it? So after you submit your application, we're gonna have 1 whole week to allow the judges to review the applications, and then everything will be online. They'll score, evaluate the applications, and then the top 10 applicants will be invited to participate in the final virtual competition. And so you may be asking, okay, well, you're going to have people grade or evaluate my criteria. Well, what evaluation criteria are they going to use? Well, the judges are going to evaluate your applications on all the things that you submit as part of the answers. So for example, they're going to, on a scale of 1 through 5, they're going to evaluate your big idea. The value proposition, which is, what problem are you solving? The market opportunity would be, who are your customers? And then the competition would be, who else is doing this, besides you? So then after you submit your application, there's going to be a whole week of review. And then right after that week, we're going to notify you if you became a finalist. And this is going to be by the 24th, which is exactly a week after you submit. Like we've mentioned, out of all the competitors, the applicants, there's going to be 10 finalists in total, and those 10 finalists are going to be invited to actually pitch their idea. So when I say 10 finalists, I mean the 10 applicants. So if you're part of a team, obviously you're one of those finalists, you know, but if you're an individual person, like I said, one of those finalists as well. Okay, so let's say you already went through the process and you completed your application and you got the great news that you became a finalist. Well, that's amazing, you know. And then after that, then we're gonna notify you that you became a finalist, and we're gonna invite you to another info session so that we can share with you the actual, we'll share with you a template, a PowerPoint slide template that you'll use to pitch your idea in the finale. And you'll have 3 minutes to pitch your idea, and then 5 minutes for Q&A, and people from the audience, employees, staff, the judges get to ask you questions. Okay, and so then you may be asking, okay, well, what's going to be required on the slide deck, right? On my PowerPoint presentation. What do I have to present on? If I become a finalist, what do I have to present on the actual March 3rd finale? Well, you're going to talk to us about your team. If you're part of a team. If you're not part of a team, then you're going to talk to us about you. You're going to talk to us about your idea, what it is, what it does, what it solves, the problem that you're trying to solve. You know, if you have any competitors, who your customers are, and if how much do you think that you would need in order to get started as far as funding. And then, like I mentioned, the actual virtual competition finale will take place via Zoom, virtually, obviously, on Wednesday, March 3rd. And it will be a 2-hour commitment from 1 to 3 p.m. And we already talked about the cool prices that we have, which is, you know, prize money, $3,000 for first place, $1,500 second place, and third place $1,000. And then we'll also have subcategories of $500. So yeah, guys, I think this concludes all the questions that we thought that maybe you could come up with. At this point, do we have any other questions that we may have missed that we didn't include in this section? We'd be happy to answer any questions or receive any feedback that you may have.
Stephanie, this is Evan. I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
So with these sort of competitions, usually they're done at other universities. Sometimes the university will hold some measure of rights to the idea. Is that the same for here, or does the student maintain the rights if they submit their idea, or if they win any category, any sort of prize in the competition?
No, we don't get any rights to any idea, whether it is
Okay.
you know, for this competition, it's open to students, staff, faculty, community. If you submit an idea, our center or the university doesn't hold any rights for your idea. I mean, it's your idea. It's a competition just so that it gets people excited about entrepreneurship.
May
Okay,
I
Evan,
to that?
Evan,
Yes.
we do have the right to go ahead and market you as a
Okay.
winner, and to that extent, the information that you have provided us
Sure.
as part of the CIC and as part of the competition.
Yes.
So
I
we
just
have
wanted
that.
to make, I'm sure you can see where my question comes from, at least in terms of a you know, idea, you know, creative standpoint.
Right. And Evan, so I'm Laurie. And
Laurie.
if students' ideas or even IP, the university will not take, you know, at any point, like if you get to the point where you create a patent or you have some intellectual property, if you're a student, the university will not take a portion of it.
Okay.
If you're faculty and you have intellectual property, you know, a patent or something, you have to disclose that to the university. But in this case, you don't have to.
What about as staff? I'm both staff and full-time staff and students, sorry.
I think that IP only
Applies to academic related work.
academic related, but we have, you know, we have an Office of Technology Transfer, Mr. Fernando Gonzalez. So if you have a question about that being staff, if you would email me at laurie.simmons@ugv.edu, I can confirm that with Fernando.
Excellent. Yes, that would be great. I appreciate that. Thank you both.
Great. Awesome. Any other questions that we have at this point on the actual competition or the process, the timeline? Anything else that we may have missed that you would like, you know, some confirmation or feedback on?
Yes, I do have a question regarding the application. One of the questions where you have to talk about other people, or if it has been done previously, do I have to talk about my community or in general? Like if other people are doing the same within my community, or just?
Okay. Do you see my screen right now that I'm sharing the application?
Yes.
Okay. So you're talking about what number is that?
Number 8.
Okay, who else is doing something like it? This is asking you your competitors. Let's say you have an idea, and I'm just, you know, throwing it out loud. Like, let's say you have an idea for a phone case, okay? Okay, well, you would obviously talk about who's currently, who are the brands that sell phone cases? Like, you know, the Mophie cases or the OtterBox, or, you know, all of these different brands that sell phone cases, that would go under here. This is asking who's your competitor, who's currently doing something that you're trying to do. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Regina, this is also an extra step to kind of help you flush out your idea. Right.
Okay.
So there may not be it doesn't have to be a necessarily a competitor. I don't know which type of idea you're trying to compete, you know, that you want to put forth, if it's a nonprofit or something along those lines. But anyone who's offering a similar type service, right? Because your idea is going to, you would want to have something that's novel, right? Not something that solves a business need or make an improvement upon how you know, something is being performed or offered in the economy. Right. So to the extent of you just looking out to see if someone else is doing something that's similar to what you're wanting to do, it's just another step to help you flush out your idea. Right.
Okay.
And if there is somebody that's doing something like you're doing, what differentiates you from them? What makes your idea or product better? What makes you different? And so it's okay if somebody else is doing something. You know, we want something novel, but, you know, it could be that there's just a new twist on it. And so being able to articulate why your idea is better than the other guys.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I just wanted to let you know that I sent on the chat the intent to submit form. If you guys are interested in actually getting access to that optional program that I showed, the Wendy Kennedy ideation, please feel free. If you're, you know, serious about the competition and would like access to that, we definitely want to set you up for success. If that's something that you're interested in, please submit that intent to compete, and then we will give you the access to the program. We'll have to give you a code, and we'll send you instructions on how to actually log in. Any other questions regarding any process of the competition that we haven't covered or we may have missed?
I just click the link and it just sends me to the home page for the link tree. I don't know if it's on my end that is happening or to the link.
So the link is gonna send you to the startup tree page, and you're gonna have to create an account. So once you create an account with the startup tree, then you can submit the form for intent.
And Stephanie,
So what is the form?
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding the form, the intent,
where
on the application.
do you click to do that?
So let me share my screen again so you can see.
You may have said it and I didn't hear it.
Okay, do you see my screen, the chat?
No, right now we just see your desk. We see your desktop.
Okay, let me do it again. Let's see.
Also, I already registered and even turned in my application, and I still don't see the letter of intent.
Okay, the letter of the intent to compete, it's not required for submitting your application. It's only if you want to have access to the program that we shared. Let me share my screen again.
So where would you find that, Stephanie?
What?
So
To compete? It's right here. Do you see my screen again?
we see somebody running on the beach.
Your desktop, I guess.
Oh my God, I don't know how to, okay, let me, well, if you go on the chat, I put on there intent to compete, and then I linked it. I added the link. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Stephanie, can you double check to make sure it's active, the intent to compete? I think he may be saying he can't find it. It's not working. I think I understood that to be correct. I don't know who that was. Was that David?
So what do you do?
No, that was me, and yes, that's correct.
Okay, Edgar. Okay, I'm sorry.
What do you do when you get to the page that you're showing us, Stephanie?
I am trying to get it for you guys. Give me a second, please. So I put it on here on the chat, and it's supposed to take you to the actual, it's like a survey. And so you submit the survey, and it's going to ask you, are you interested in submitting an application for the competition? And you say yes. And so then once we get that, then we can give you access to the program. But
May I show you share my screen? And I clicked on the link, and let me show you what I see.
Okay.
So you give me access.
Yes, I just gave you access.
Okay, so where is it? Screen number 2. Share. So do you see my screen?
Yes.
This is when I clicked on the link you posted, this is what I see. What are you supposed to do when you get here? Because it says manage, edit, archive.
Okay, you're seeing that because you're an administrator.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay, so let me share my screen again. This is what you're supposed to see. Do you see my screen that says Big Idea Competition 2021?
No, ma'am. Was to see the previous screen.
We're seeing mine. How do I need to get out of there? Hold on, stop share. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so let me, isn't that the most asked question of 2020, 2021? Do you see my screen? Okay, do you see my screen again? That says Big Idea Competition 2021 intent.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so on here, okay, what I'll do is I'll share this link again on the chat so that everybody can follow along. Can everyone see the link on the chat?
Yes.
Okay, so if you click on that link, it should take you to this right here. And so then you'll put, take survey, and then it'll ask you for your name, your last name, your phone number, email, your idea name, a little description of what your idea is, and then do you plan to submit, yes or no? And yes, no, or maybe. And then once you submit that and you click yes, that you do plan to submit, then because we already have your information here, then we'll send you the instructions and the code for accessing the online self-paced ideation program to develop your idea.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So when you go back to the other page
Which page?
where it said take survey.
Okay.
So take survey, is that confusing to, I mean, to the students where it says take survey? Is that confusing, or should it say something? I'm trying to make this a better product and more user friendly. And so having the students here is a great opportunity to do that. Should it say take survey, or I'm interested in this, or, you know, or something, or is that clear? I'm
I think
directing.
that's clear
It is.
because we were previously told it was going to be a survey, so at least we know. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So can I have a volunteer that can share your screen and click on the link and share your screen and just so that we're on the same page, that I have peace of mind that you actually have access to the link. Can I have?
Go for it.
By the way, y'all are an awesome group. Thank you for
There's
helping
a
us with
screen
this.
that the link showed me to the survey. It led me to the survey.
Okay, great. And then can you click where it says take survey?
Are y'all able to see mine?
Yes, we're able to see a screen. I don't know who's sharing.
It's me. I went to the chat because apparently when I shared my screen, it removed everybody. It removed the Zoom window, so it just showed my Firefox. So I went to chat and then I clicked, and this is where it took me. And then from there, I just clicked this, and there it is.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you guys can actually, you know, click on the link and open the intent to submit. And if you're interested in participating in the competition and would like access to the WKI self-paced program free of charge, like I said, then we'll go ahead and send you the instructions to your email and the code, and you'll have access to that program for a whole year. The minute the time will start counting the minute you log in. So if you log in, let's say tomorrow, so it'll be, you know, the deadline, you know, to have access to it will be a year from tomorrow or so. So anyway, any other questions, comments, suggestions, feedback on anything that we've covered so far in today's session?
Oh, okay. Hi, I do have a question. If the person is doing a green innovation business, is that person also competing for the first to third place?
Yes.
But only if she doesn't make to the first and third, she's going to compete to the social or green innovation program, isn't it? Price.
Yes, so all competitions, all applicants are going to be reviewed, and the top 10 finalists are going to be selected. And so just because your particular idea is green innovation, that doesn't mean that it's only going to count for that subcategory price. So if you become a finalist and you pitch your idea on March the 3rd, and all the judges love the idea and it's a great presentation, everyone has a fair shot of the top three prices plus the subcategories. That's an additional, you know, price.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
To be clear, you can win the $3,000 award plus the $5,000. So there's the potential to win $3,500. If you win a category and the main prize. Is that?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
That was
Priscilla, when you think of entrepreneurship, we're looking at it in a couple of different ways, right? So there's a regular traditional for-profit way, right, for a business that's in pursuit of making money, but we are also looking at it from the social side. So entrepreneurship in the social sector, and then also there's the green energy thing is hot, right? Climate change is at the forefront of today's concerns around the world, right? So we highlighting those other important areas, right? And so the overall winner can come from any area, but then those are also specifically important areas that we also want to highlight as well.
Okay, and I just wanted to let you know that I added the competition link on the chat as well, so that you can have easy access to it as well. Any other comments, questions that you guys have regarding what we've covered?
I've got one comment. Stephanie, can you would know a little bit better than I would. Maybe can you give the folks an idea of how long it would take to go through the 4 program modules in the Wendy Kennedy program, just to kind of give them an idea of the time commitment, so they can help them plan their time from until the actual submission, if they're thinking about doing that.
Okay, so the modules, they vary. They're self-paced, so it's at your own pace. You start a video, and if you have class, or you have to work, or you have to take care of family, or whatever the case is, you can pause it at any time and resume where you left off. But I would say a module would take you approximately an hour or so. So you're talking about at least a good 4-hour commitment, because it's it's videos you're watching, but you have to comprehend the information that you're listening to, that you're absorbing, and so then that information you're gonna use it to develop your idea. So I would say about a 4-hour commitment.
I would highly recommend that you take the opportunity if you're intent on wanting to compete. I assume that you want to try to win. So I would recommend that you do take a look at those programs. I think Wendy Kennedy did a wonderful job on the creation of those programs, and it will help improve your submission. Okay.
Okay, and I just somebody in the chat asked, how do you start the Wendy Kennedy program? So once again, just to be everyone on the same page, in order to get access to the Wendy Kennedy program, which is that self-paced ideation program in videos, then you'll need to submit that intent to compete. That intent to compete is the survey I just showed you on my screen, and the link is on the chat. Once you submit the intent to compete, then we will send you instructions on how to log in to the actual website. We have to give you a code, because it's a program we charge, but because you're competing in the competition, we're giving you a scholarship so that you don't have to pay for that program. It'll be free of charge to you, and you'll have access to that program for an entire year. So once again, if you want access to that program to develop your idea further, then we'll submit that intent to compete, and then we'll send you instructions with a code. Okay. All right, great. Anything else? Larry, you're muted.
How many times do you hear that? You're muted. I have another question. I'm just curious, how many on this call are students, and or is there anyone on the call that's not a student? Like a professor or faculty, or is everybody a student?
I'm not a student, I'm a faculty.
You're faculty. Okay, great.
Yes.
By show of hands or emojis on your screen, how many of you guys are students? Can you give us a thumbs up if you're a student? Okay. All right, great. Sounds good. Perfect. Well, guys, it was great seeing your precious faces on the screen. We hope that you learned a lot, and we hope that you have all the information needed for participating in the competition. If you have any questions or concerns, or just need clarification on anything, I'm gonna put our phone number to our office and our email on the chat. Feel free to email us or call us with any questions you have. And for those of you who are interested in competing and want access to the program, then submit that intent to compete, and we'll send you instructions so that you can get access to that. But thank you guys for all your time and your attention. We really appreciate it. And so if you don't have any questions, then this concludes our information session, and I'm just emailing or adding our info on the chat so that you can reach out to us if you need to.
Wonderful. Look, Stephanie, you did a fantastic job, Derek, and thank you everybody for participating. Really appreciate y'all being on the call. And we hope that we get a bunch of applications.
Yeah, we hope to see you guys on our, top 10 finalists in our virtual competition, and I hope to see you guys virtually at least in March 3rd. All right. Thank you guys, everyone.